Baby, I'm a gangster too. It takes two to tango. You don't wanna mess with me, mess with me. Baby, I'm a gangster too. Baby, I'm a gangster too. Baby, I'm a gangster too.
On my knees in the night, then
Baby, I'm a gangster.
bang it.
Baby, I'm a gangster.
On my knees in the night, then prayers in the street light.
Baby, I'm a gangster too.
Yo, what is up guys, ShinobiEevee here, back again with another video for you guys today. And ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be doing a review on Sword Online Alicization Lycoris and their latest DLC that just came out for the game called Blooming of Matricaria. Now if you guys are new to the channel, thank y'all for coming in and welcome to the channel. Name's ShinobiEevee. I am a VTuber now, and I also do reaction videos, gaming, reviews as the one we're doing right now, and playthroughs. So we got a lot of creative stuff I want to try on this channel. You know, we're still pretty small as it is right now, but if you guys do enjoy that kind of content, then definitely leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna have a lot of fun over here. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and I want y'all guys to be able to join in on it. We also do Pokemon Unite. We do live streams every day. So if you guys do enjoy that kind of light stuff, then this will be the channel for you. Other than that, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So of course, starting off with story, giving a little bit of background for people who are new to this game or haven't done the DLC yet. So long story short, this DLC takes place after, of course, the Forget Me Not DLC that came out before this one, and it's also the second story mode where it took me around, like, say a good 20 hours to beat, and that's just because I didn't skip cutscenes. For you guys, if you wanted to skip cutscenes, it'd probably take you a good maybe 8 hours. And I say maybe because it really depends, because for me, when it came to the bug, because you know how you have to go up 90 floors, there's like 90 floors you gotta go up for this DLC. Apparently you can teleport up and down the floors, but I couldn't, because there was a bug where you had to go in and out of the area before you went into the underground, and then you could teleport then. Like, it was a bug. But either way, if you do that and you don't have the bug, you can teleport up and down the stairs and everything, because it's 90 floors, then you'll be solid. But as far as the story goes, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot on cutscenes wise and everything like that. I also like the introduction of Rogu. And like I said earlier, long story short, for those of you guys who are new to this, the story for this DLC specifically was the 100-day war. So basically, for those of you guys who know how War of Underworld works, we had Cardinal, the Integrity Knights, having a meeting, and then what ended up happening is some intruders with their leader calling themselves the Round Robin basically showed up and decided to start the 100-year war, where they basically wanted to destroy the planet that they were on, or technically destroy the human council area, or, you know, Northern Centauria, if you want to go by that point. So that was their goal, and this was all cost due to the fact that we were defeating the Divine Beast from the other DLCs, which I really liked, that they incorporated the other DLCs into the reason why, you know, the main villain showed up along with the other four generals that he had. So he had his own generals and all sorts of other different stuff too. So I really like they incorporated the Divine Beast like that, because it actually kind of gave them some purpose other than to give, you know, new weapons and new bosses to fight. So yeah, no, that was definitely interesting. And that was also, of course, like I said earlier, the introduction of the character Rogu, who uses a shield and axe, which was a really interesting dynamic, I will say. Not one of my favorites. My favorite weapons are still, of course, dual wielding, which you're probably seeing me do right now, and katanas. But unfortunately, I haven't found a good katana that I want to use yet. So, you know, dual wielding is what we're going with, and I still haven't made a build for my single-handed swords yet. So, you know, I'm like a casual when it comes to this game. I'm not grinding it. I'm not going crazy out there like a lot of different YouTubers who do this. There's some crazy people out there who play this game who know damn near the math to this game, bro. It's nuts. So, you know, it's crazy out there. But, you know, as of the 100-Year War, they basically got all the Integrity Knights, Kirito, Asuna, and everybody in the main cast into 4 different groups, which I enjoyed because you got to play as different characters, depending on what group they had you playing as. So you had, you know, Group A, which was, if I'm correct, Broccoli, Fantonio, Desibert, and Sortilia. Group B, which was Asuna, Eldri, and I think 2 others. I forgot who other 2 who had on their squad. I think it was Medina and somebody else. Because the last 2 is, because there's a lot of characters in this game. But I think the last 2 squads, the last 2 squads, which was Team 4 and 3, you had Ronie, Tisei, Lifa, and Celica. Then you had, of course, the main 4. You had Rogu, who's the new character, along with Yu-Gi-Oh, Kirito, and Alice, like, you know, the normal squad. So those are the last ones. I forgot who the last one is. For those of you guys who played through the DLC, you guys can tell me. But they had a bunch of squads, and our main squad was the one to go down and confront round robin all 4 of his generals. Which, long story short, since I don't want to be talking too much about it, because I don't want to waste y'all's time, but because you could play through the DLC if you want to see it yourself. But long story short, our group ended up going through and fighting the bosses, the main generals. We had to go out and do some side stuff, including fighting the Divine Beasts, every single last one of them, which was pretty nice. I'm dreading the day that I actually have to fight all of them on Death Game. I'm dreading that day because that's going to be tough. But if I do grind this game out some more, then I think I'll be fine. But, you know, that was pretty nice. You know, there was also some character development with Rogu, which I really like they did. I really like how they did Rogu in this because they actually gave him some character development. They did his character pretty well. In fact, me personally, I would accept him as one of the main 4 casts for Alicization. He's a part of the squad now. I'm not using him right now because I don't have his weapon out and upgraded yet, but like he's part of the squad as far as I'm concerned. Rogu's really an enjoyable character. He starts out being rash and shy at first, especially around women because he's not used to it. But then over time, as he opens up more to Kirito, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Alice even, he kind of just warms up to the group, and then, you know, they're basically brothers at the point. Like Rogu, Kirito, and Yu-Gi-Oh are brothers. Like, and I wish it came out like this, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wish that the game reverse was how it actually went. That Yu-Gi-Oh, spoiler alert, didn't die in Alicization before War of Underworld. I really wish they did, cause come on, bro, it was perfect, bro. It was perfect. You could have had it all right there, but hey, sometimes things just ain't meant to be. So, no, I really enjoyed his character. I like how he got upgrades to his weapon by a cardinal every single time we completed a mission. You know, I like how his character interacted with all the other ones. I like also how they had a backstory for him because he has that eye patch, right? So I like how they had the backstory with him breaking the seal of the right eye, which it was kind of obvious a little bit because why else would he lose an eye outside maybe battle? Which, granted, he is from kind of like a battle-heavy background. He's always been fighting. He's like a wanderer. But even still, like, that was pretty interesting, and the way they broke the seal of the right eye was pretty sweet, and how, you know, how he had an insecurity with what happened before, how he had to be that guy. He had to be the one to show his worth. It was like a thing with self-worth where he didn't really care about himself, but as long as he was able to help others. Because before, he kind of, when he was in groups, he got ditched whenever he wasn't useful. So he was always trying to prove himself to everybody to show that he was worth being with the squad. And slowly and surely, Yu-Gi-Oh, Kirito, and Alice, especially Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh really got on his ass about it. Yu-Gi-Oh said, yo, you gotta care about your health, bro. Like, we all are friends here. We're good. We're Gucci out here. We don't gotta do any sacrificing and anything like that. So I really like how that happened. I also liked how they got him to trust Alice finally after a little while, and how after that they basically became brothers and sisters at that point. It was interesting. It was interesting to say the most. And as far as the villains concerned, I really like the villains. I like how they have their own ideologies, their own weapons, and I like how Round Robin's character was done. Though, to be honest, I would prefer it if we got War of Underworld. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would prefer it if we got War of Underworld, because then we would actually have a villain that we already know we dislike. We already got this villain we don't dislike, and then we're like, yo, we get hyped and we get ready to fight Vecta. But, you know, Round Robin, he's alright as a villain. He's alright. He kind of fits into a generic, oh, I'm just evil because I have to be evil thing. But at the same time, they had a reason behind it. Because the reason him and the 4 generals even showed up in the first place is because we had been defeating the Divine Beast. So the program activated to where basically they would show up and try and, you know, do the crisis test on their own. But of course we stopped that stuff, you know, like a boss, we stopped those. I also kind of like how they had some backstory, how they were doing this, or at least how Round Robin was doing what he was doing, because he wanted to meet his creators and how he wanted to make his creators proud by doing what they asked of him. So there's also that kind of thing that they had going for him. But overall, story-wise, really good. You got to play as all the characters. They all had their roles. Nobody was really useless throughout this DLC. And there was even a moment when you're fighting Round Robin at the end where all the DLC characters, basically, who got enhanced armament and who got like their own new weapons, they all used their enhanced armaments at the same time, which was pretty dang cool. To say it myself, it was pretty dang cool to watch. Though, to be honest, this DLC was a little bit buggy, so some of the enhanced armaments you couldn't even see what's going on, or it'd be like far out or anything like that. But either way, it still looked cool as hell, and I really enjoyed the story. Me personally, I give this story, like, out of all the DLCs, like the long ones, this one would be a good 10 out of 10. I say it's pretty damn good. Well, I'd probably have to give it a 9.5. I'd give it a 9.5, you know. I feel like they could have done more with it. I really feel like they could have done more with it. But, you know, for what they were doing, and considering the fact that they're probably working with most likely a short staff on this game right now, because they're probably focusing on a different game. For what they had going for them, I feel like they did a pretty decent job. So I give them a good 9.5 out of 10. If not just a 9 solid, because they're probably running on, like I said earlier, a skeleton crew, which is why the DLC came out so late in the first place. That's what I'm assuming, that they're probably running on a skeleton crew, and they're probably working on another Sword Art Online game, probably progressive, or maybe War of Underworld, because a lot of people have been asking for it. And you know, with what they had, they did a pretty decent job. So as far as story goes, you know, pretty good. Now moving over to gameplay, it's not half bad either, gameplay wise. The only thing I had an issue with is, like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, if you didn't know about the bug, you couldn't teleport up and down the 90 floors, so you had to run up and down. Though, to be honest, it was kind of worth it. If you're kind of those people who like exploring a lot and you don't want to rush through the game, you want to take your time, then it's fine, because it's like 90 floors and they give you a bunch of chests inside of those floors. And there's a bunch of items you can get that could be possibly useful. And also, and I forgot to say this earlier, the one thing I also like is, since they rose everybody's levels to where you can get your weapons armor to level 99, you got like a free 20 of every single large shard and every medium at one point or another that Cardinal gives you while you know, getting upgrades and stuff. So I like how they did that, because right now, you know, unfortunately large shards are in short supply. So I'm glad that they did that. But overall, if you're the exploring type, then the 90 floors going up and down and with the bug, if you guys have it, isn't really that bad. But for me, I was trying to go through it so I can do the endgame content, because they give you like a lot of endgame content. Like the content they give you just with this DLC alone, this is like months worth of content to do, which I do enjoy the fact that they have some stuff to do. But there is one major flaw with that at the same time. It's the fact that there is so much to do. Like there's so much to do that's like overwhelming, kind of, a little bit. So that is kind of a major flaw a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. You know, not too much you can do about it. I'd rather have a bunch of stuff to do than to be bored like I was before and not have anything to do. And even then, I still got a lot of stuff I gotta do in this game, bro. I still got a lot of stuff I gotta do in this game. But other than that, you know, so far that it's not too bad. You know, the only thing that I haven't, and it's the bug that happened that caused me to run up 90 floors back and forth a little bit. And then there's also the fact that there wasn't a lot of fighting that you really did. It was mostly exploration and boss grinding. Like, you pretty much fought the first boss, you beat him pretty easily, right? You go up to the next couple of floors, you fight the second boss, then you have to go out, fight the second boss again, because she appears in the outside world and in the area you have to go into. So you have to fight her a couple of times. Then you fight the third boss right after that, and that's like floor, I think, 40 to 60. So you got that going on right there. And then after that, you have to do some more exploration. So I think going up to like floor 80 or so, that's when you have to do like more exploration. You know, you gotta go a couple more floors, and then you fight. You have to do like this sneak section. So there is a puzzle kind of section that you have to do. around 480 to 90, which is pretty interesting, and that's where more of the story for Roku comes out. But at the same time, it was just like you didn't do a lot of fighting, and the fighting that you did do, it really wasn't that much of a challenge. Though, to be honest, there is a harder mode after you do the normal mode, so I can't give him that there will be a challenge after you get done doing that. But even still, like, I feel like there should have been more, there should have been a mix between story and just the fighting. Though, to be honest, Sword Art Online, and I forgot to mention this before, when this game in general, it's just a story-driven game. It really is. It's a story-driven game. That's why the cutscenes are so long. And, you know, if you don't want to watch through them, then you can skip the cutscenes. I didn't want to do that because, for me personally, I don't like skipping the cutscenes, and I like watching the story, so. But some of the cutscenes, bro, they just dragged them on, so it wasn't too much interesting, except for the parts where they had action going on. The ending is when it really got good, but other than that, that was pretty much all there was for that. You had a couple of boss fights, you ran up some stairs a little bit. If you were exploring stuff, you could finally explore all that. But other than that, the main boss fight was the most enjoyable part out of all of it. It was the part where you got the most action. There wasn't a lot of talking, you know, and there was cutscenes that cut in part of the thing. It wasn't too long, though. To be honest, I hated it a little bit that they did that. That when you'd be fighting a boss, you'd lower the HP, and then out of nowhere you get a cutscene, like a short cutscene, and then you go back to fighting again. It kind of kills the immersion a little bit. So that's why I said gameplay-wise, you know, I'd have to lower it a little bit, because there wasn't a lot of boss fights. And there were some boss fights that when you did fight them, then the cutscene happened, and then, you know, they do their smack talk, or they do their, like, strategy, and then you go back to fighting them again. That kind of killed it a little bit, but at the same time, like I said, the game's a story-driven game, so, you know, what can you do? But other than that, gameplay-wise, it wasn't bad, you know. There wasn't any lag problems, there wasn't any other issues to be had, there wasn't any lag, there wasn't any crashing. This DLC ran pretty well, in my opinion. If you're going by how well it ran pretty well, and there wasn't any crashing or any problems with it. I would just have to say that there just wasn't a lot that you were doing during the DLC. You was mostly just doing more exploration, fighting a boss every here and there, more exploration, you know. There wasn't really a kind of a good mix. So that's why I'll give gameplay, at least for the story, not as the game overall. For the story, I have to give the gameplay a good 7. A good 7. Like a solid 7 or 7.5. That's why I put it. So that's not too bad. I feel like, me personally, if I could edit some things, first of all, I would take out the cutscenes that they put between the fight. And I would add in a little bit more boss fights. Like, put a divine beast at every floor that you have to fight before you fight them. I would rather them done that than you have to fight every single one of the divine beasts by themselves. Because that's what essentially ended up happening. It was right before you fight the 4th boss that all the divine beasts show up in the real world, even though they're weakened. They're mostly copies, so you have to fight every single one of them one at a time. Which, don't get me wrong, was fun and all, but at the same time, it didn't really do anything. It was more like, oh, now you gotta run back up all these stairs. I would have rather had it where it's like, oh, all the divine beasts showed up again, but you gotta fight them, you know, every floor or so. That would have been way more interesting. Way more interesting, in my opinion, than just having them show up and then you have to fight them one at a time. I would have preferred if they did it the other way, but, you know, that's just me. That's just my critique when it came to the gameplay, you know. And then, of course, like I said earlier, you could get your weapons to level 99. Do appreciate that you can get stronger now, which is going to make, like, I like the fact that you can get to level 99, though it will be a grind to do it. It will be a grind to do it because you have to get so many large shards and everything like that. But, at least now, if you do get to that level, or at least you get around that level, doing the bosses that we had to do beforehand that we struggled with will be a lot easier for your newer players if they do get into this game. So, not too shabby if I do say so myself. But overall, I think that's pretty much it for my review. Positives, I'd have to say, you know, just, you know, ending it off. Positives, I'd have to say, story was really good. Enjoyed Rogu's character, his character development, how, you know, they had him interact with the main cast. I like that. Villains, they were decent, you know, decent. I feel like they also had their own motives and stuff for what they did. which was really nice. Also enjoyed the fact that you could actually play as other characters, not just as your main 4 tasks. So you got to play as all the squads that ended up being part of the 100-Day War. You got to see the Divine Beast play somewhat of a part as well in the whole thing, with us beating all of them beforehand and everything like that. That was also pretty nice to see that they incorporated that. And then finally, last but not least, the final battle of Round Robin, which was one of my favorite parts of the DLC, was really exciting to do for me, at least personally. I felt really good doing that, and had a lot of fun. So positives were that. Negatives, and this is, like I said, negatives from people. I feel like the negatives would only be for people who don't like the cutscenes being so long, but at the same time you could skip them, so I can't really even count that as a negative. But at the same time, like, negatives wise, cutscenes a little bit too long for my liking. There is certain stuff that I feel like they could have just cut out or just left out that they didn't have to put in there. But like I said, game's story driven, you can't really hold it against them. And I feel like there should have been more fighting. I feel like there should be more fighting gameplay wise, stuff to do, you know, that kind of stuff. That's how I feel about that. But hey, is what it is. Not really anything else to say though. Other than that, I don't got any other negatives. Other than the fact that it was a little bit glitchy, not like gameplay wise, but like with the cutscenes, it was a little bit glitchy. But you know, that could be fixed over time. You know, with what they got going on right now, they are probably running on a skeleton crew, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, especially since it took them so long for them to get this DLC out. So other than that, that's pretty much gonna be it for the review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the review for this DLC, what you guys favorite part of the DLC was, or what you guys didn't like, or what you would have improved on. You know, just leave your comments down below on what you guys think about what the DLC was like. And without further ado, I think that's gonna be it. Stay cool, y'all, and this is gonna be ShinobiEevee signing off. I'll see you guys in another video, and I'm out. Peace.